I think what you
Peace and love, everybody, and welcome to Black Press USA's morning show. And this is where we bring you the headlines and the culture. And I have a real powerhouse in the building today. So I want to give a couple of notes about him, but we're going to talk a lot more about him through the show. He's the chair of the Political Science Department at Virginia State University, an acclaimed author of Monumental and of When White Supremacy Knocks, Fight Back, and his latest book released in November, Nobody's Coming to Save Us. Welcome, Dr. Wes Bellamy.
Hey, what's up, sis? How you doing? Always good to be here with you.
I'm glad that you are here. And like I say, there's so much to talk about when we talk about who Dr. Wes Bellamy is. So we're going to sprinkle it throughout the show because when I was working on the show, I curated it with you in mind. Okay. It's a lot going on in our country, and you are a voice that can speak truth to it and from the perspective of how nobody's coming to save us, but how we need to save ourselves. So I'm really excited to have you.
Amen. Amen. Looking forward to doing it with you. Let's get it.
Okay, let's get it. So we start the show off with a poll, right? And so our poll this morning has to do with Black history turning 100 years old. Mm-hmm. And so with everything that's going on with our Black history being snatched, the question is, what do you believe is the most effective way to protect our history from being erased? And so, Chad, of course, you know this poll is for you and you got to chime in. And so the options are legal action, street activism, C, independent institutions, or D, community storytelling. So let me repeat the question again. What do you believe is the most effective way to protect our history from being erased? Is it A, legal action? Is it B, street activism? Is it C, independent institutions? Or is it D, community storytelling? I'll let you go first, Dr. Bellamy.
Dang, I need an E. All of the above, all of them, every single one of them. There is no wrong answer here. We got to put pressures on the courts by going the legal route to ensure that our democracy is being upheld. We need people in the streets to be able to make sure that our voices are heard. We need individuals to build our own institutions so we're not relying on anybody else, like you said, and like the title of the book, Nobody's Coming to Save Us. And then more than anything else, we need to be willing to remind ourselves that we have everything that we need within each other to get to where we need to be. Again, nobody's coming to save us. So let's do all of them to get to where we need to be, because we know our young people, our grannies, our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, our brothers, our sisters are all depending on us to do what we have to do to get us where we need to be.
Okay, so the chat. Okay, I'll get to my. I think it's all of the above too. But I guess for me, as a journalist and being a producer, storytelling is a big way for me to help us preserve our history. But I do believe it's E, all of the above. Dr. Marilyn is saying community storytelling. Helen is saying community storytelling. Nancy Wall agrees with you, all of the above. And somebody says we got Happy Black History Month in the flesh. There we go. We sure do. Good morning, Dr. Marilyn. Good morning, Sandra Brown. And then Orange, our OG, which he's going to love you on the show because he does a podcast every Friday on HBCU Sports. And so
that's what's good.
Yeah, so he's going to like what you have to talk about today. But he does say Happy Tuesday and a story that all Black men should look into. Facial recognition is junk science, and it struck again during Mardi Gras. Long story short, a Black man was arrested at a parade. While you asked, his face came back as a person who was responsible for committing crimes against children. The man was falsely not by the victim. It wasn't true, basically. So it's called it junk science. And then, okay, so we have the chat is chatting.
Yeah,
Huh? Go ahead.
technology is crazy. And I mean,
Yeah.
that when you look at the advent of facial recognition and these different forms of technology surveilling us in such a wide variety of different ways, some people say that we're in the new version of the Matrix. I say that we've been there, and it's only going to continue to expand. So we got to be careful, one, with how we're utilizing these devices, and then secondly, ensure that we're connecting and looking out for each other to ensure that we're all being treated the right way. Hey, can I tell a really quick story, like a 30-second story?
Sure, go for it.
All right, so not it doesn't have anything to do with facial recognition, but I live in Virginia. I'm from it. I grew up in Atlanta. All my family's from South Carolina, but I live here in Virginia. I've been here the last 17 years. Black History Month, which originally was Negro History Week, was started and founded by Carter G. Woodson, who was the pride of Buckingham, Virginia. Buckingham, Virginia was one of the first free Black spaces in the country. Buckingham is about an hour from where I live in Charlottesville, still a very proud area. I was just at the Carter G Community Center a couple of weeks ago giving the talk. So shout out to Buckingham, and shout out to everybody who's out there doing what they have to do to tell our stories and ensure that our history isn't being forgotten.
I love that. And of course, the Black Press is celebrating 199 years this year of storytelling. Yeah.
199 years. Good
Yeah.
Lord. How
So
many years you been around at them 199? 21?
No, not 21. Forget you, not 21. Not 21, but close to it. And so you mentioned like 3 cities, 3 states, 3 cities. What's your Black newspaper in Charlottesville, in Atlanta, and of course Virginia?
So in Charlottesville, we have the Vinegar Hill magazine. The founder actually just passed away about a month ago. Rest in power to brother Eddie Ducey Harris, man, a legend there in himself, is currently being led by our brother Sarad Davenport. So shout out to him. In Atlanta, obviously we got the Atlanta Black Star. I mean, you got 15 different Black newspapers. I'm being facetious in Atlanta, and in South Carolina.
It's a few. To your point,
and in South Carolina, where my family's from, in Atlantic Beach, there's a little brother by the name of Malik, or Malik Thomas, if you will. And he has these like, he tells these little stories that he puts out in cartoon form. The name of it is leaving me, but he does them like basically every other week. So I'm forgetting the name, but I'm gonna make sure I get that, then come back to you.
Okay, cool. And if you're in the chat, drop your Black newspaper in your community that you read. Let's amplify 199 years of storytelling. And we were talking first. I want to go back to the ring cam because I saw a post about a Super Bowl ad from Ring. What is it? Ring Cam? Is it the Ring Cam? Okay, so the commercial apparently was like, we can go through every house in the neighborhood and find you. That's good. That's just how good Ring Cam is. But exactly. Yeah, there was a commercial for Ring Cam during the Super Bowl saying this, and the content creator was like, if you have Ring Cam, you should get rid of it immediately. And it goes to the point of facial recognition and how technology is also a form of surveillance now for our government, for us.
Wow, now that's a crazy one. You didn't necessarily prep me for that before we was talking about that part. So you telling me that the Ring Cam can go through the entire neighborhood and they can look inside your house, they can see what I'm doing at 11:30 at night when I'm at, all right, we're not gonna talk about that. But they surveilling everything and everybody.
And they put it on prime time. They paid $1 million to let you know. Now the question is, are we smart enough to hear what they are saying?
Probably not. That's just being honest. I mean, the other thing is, I have daughters, man, and I don't know, because I want them to be secured. I want to be able to know where they are, what they're doing, man. But yeah, I don't want them being surveilled. This is crazy, man. 2026. I bet you, when you was telling that story, and then on the back end of the story we just was talking about with Carter G. Woodson, I think about like the ancestors. If they were here, if they could somehow teleport to see everything that's going on right now, their minds will be blown away.
Right. Like, so
It's
how far? We've come so far,
yeah,
but we're so far going backwards
yeah,
just at the
yeah,
same
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah. Good
Same
Lord,
time.
look at your
But
own house. Lord,
right in your own, be careful, y'all. Be careful. So the chat is chatting again. Helen says Philadelphia Tribune. Sandra Jones says Richmond Free Press. Orange G
Richmond
says
Free Press, what up, though?
Orange G says the New Orleans Tribune, and Dr. Marilyn says the Dallas Examiner. For me, we have the LA Sentinel, of course.
Of course,
We have LA Our Weekly, LA Focus, which is about the Black church, and then we have The Way, and it's a couple more, but those are the ones that come to mind.
shout out
So
to the
yeah,
LA. There was one time I was in LA, man, and make sure I had some real good soul food. All the food on that whole strip and that block is good. You know what I'm saying, man? I got a lot
Earl's Grill, yeah.
of
But I mean,
yeah, man.
but you came and you did we did some really cool connections at the LA Sentinel.
We did, not me. We did.
I said we did. No, we did. And so I think I always talk about how the Black press is about news, views, and advocacy. It's not that we just told the story, but we connected some dots too, to help, save ourselves, as you say.
Yeah, so when I'm gonna back out, I'm saying, I mean, like, what's going on? I know we got a show to do. But I'm trying to get this trip together. Too,
well, we gotta talk about that later. So the Indianapolis Recorder is in there. But I want to go back to our poll because we're talking about how we tell our stories. And I think as we have the show, there are some things that you've done that are kind of connected to a lot of our stories. And for Black history, I think about, you and what happened in Charlottesville. And then for those of our viewers who don't know, Dr. Bellamy was one of the leaders who stood tall during the Unite the Right rallies, leading the charge to remove symbols of white supremacy from public spaces. And I'm talking about the Robert E. Lee statue, the first one to come down, that turned into a documentary that you produced and put out, A Time to Yell, More Than a Statue, and of course the book. So talk to us a little bit about that and the history of that as it connects to what's happening today.
Sure. I mean, ironically enough, as we're celebrating 100 years of Black History Month in Charlottesville in 1921, there was a statue put up, two statues, the first of Robert E. Lee, the second one of Stonewall Jackson, and literally there was a Klan rally that was dedicated to while the statues were erected and then memorialized in our downtown area. One of the statues, the Stonewall Jackson statue, actually had a Black neighborhood. It was sitting in a Black neighborhood. They moved all the Black folk out Weeks Avenue and put that statue there. Robert Lee statue was facing the Black community. They were being very clear in terms of who they were sending this message to in this quote unquote era of taking back what they believed to be theirs. So in 2016, there was a brilliant, brave young sister. It's oftentimes the sisters who lead in the charge, named Zayana Bryant. She was 14 years old at the time. She wrote a school petition and was like, yo, I want these statues up out of here. I was serving as the vice mayor at the time on the city council. I was the youngest person. So, I'm kind of young and wild. I'm like, excuse me. I'm with the smoke. Let's go get it.
Right.
Get out of here. And I thought it was going to be real easy, but it was not, man. These white folk reminded me that Robert E. Lee, in their opinion, that dude right there, I had some white folk tell me that he was the greatest person to walk the earth since Jesus. So that lets you know what we was dealing with. And Robert E. Lee, for those who don't know, was the leader of the Confederacy, the general, world-renowned general in that regard. But long story short, they told us we wouldn't be able to do it. The statue been up for 100 years. The statue came down, and that little pedestal where that picture was, there's a picture. I'll make sure I get it to you. The statue came down, and in the end, I was standing on the pedestal. I'm the only person to ever get up on that pedestal before it was removed by another Black man. Shout out to my guy, Devon Henry out of Richmond. So, we make Black history every day, and it's not about me. It's about us, the community. We all rallied together, got them statues up out of here. A lot of white folks, white supremacists was mad. They tried to come to Charlottesville, create some havoc, but we got them up out of here too. And we still standing and they not, and the fight continues.
And you know, you have a documentary. If anybody can go, how can people watch A Time to Yell more than a statue?
Yeah, we got some real good news. I can't say it right now, but y'all gotta bring me back. Y'all gotta bring me back in the end of the
And how
month.
long? Oh, the end of the month. Okay, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Say less.
We got some big announcements. It might be next week, you know what I'm talking about? But hey, y'all gotta bring me back so we can make sure y'all can find out where you can watch A Time to Yell more than a statue. I'm telling you, it is one of the best things that you're gonna see. I'm not saying that.
Now remember I've seen it. Remember I got
saw
to
it
see
first.
it.
You saw it first. We came out in LA and we premiered it there. My sis came out, she checked it out. We've been winning awards across the country, man. I'm telling you, it's a really good doc. And you know, more than anything, it's not a doc about me. It's really about how community rallies around each other, how people from different communities can come together and support each other, and then also how we lead and work in different ways. So it's dope, and I can't wait to tell y'all about where you can find it at the end of the month.
Yeah, and I love it because, like you said, it really is talking about and speaking to community, which, you know, I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to see, you know, the planning of the rally but it was really about community. And I loved how you put that twist on it.
Yeah. Shout out to my girl, Dawn Montgomery. We had a screening out in Atlanta. Dawn, you know, she's big BLACKPRESS. Dawn held us down. She moderated the talk for us. So, you know, shout out to Dawn as well. We've been taking it across the country, man. Been really, really well received. So thank y'all for the support. And I can't wait to tell y'all more about it soon.
I can't wait either. All right. And so we're talking about Black newspapers. Some more. The Baltimore Afro has come in. And so let's talk about a story from the Philadelphia Tribune, which is a BLACKPRESS affiliate. And it's telling the story of the 9 slaves who toiled for George Washington at what is known as the President's House in Philadelphia. And this comes as workers from the federal government and the National Park Service recently stripped informational panels about the 9 at the memorial following an executive order from Donald Trump. Now, the city has since filed a lawsuit against the federal government for breaking the contracts and saying that they should have, within the contract, there was a communication to where the federal government had to communicate with the city before they even messed with the exhibit. Of course, Trump and them didn't notify the mayor, didn't notify the governor, just went in and stripped the panels. And the judge noted that some of the panels exhibited damage. Okay, just stripping our stuff, and called for the Trump admin to securely store all removed panels and mitigate any damage. So not only did they just strip it, but they did it carelessly. And I think it's important, Wes, that we say their names. And I'm talking about the 9 slaves whose names and stories were told and they were just stripped away, you know, and disregarded. So let's say their names: Austin Christopher, well, Austin, no last name, Christopher Shields, Gills, Hercules, Joe Richardson, Mo, Ani Judge, Paris, and Richard. Those are the 9 stories that were told in the Washington House that the Trump administration just stripped away. What's your response to that?
Well, a couple of things. I mean, one, you know, 45, 47, he don't give a damn about none of us, and he really don't care about anything other than lining his pockets, as he's the biggest grifter in presidentship. My bad, we're not talking about that. All right, so in this particular part, right, I think the cruelness and the efforts in which this administration is looking to go to be able to remove historical facts pertaining to Black history, specifically during Black History Month, should be another eye-opener for those who aren't paying attention. Now, there's 2 parts to this, in my opinion, though. One, they can try to strip our plaques and our monuments, but they can never strip away our stories. And that's why it's important for journalists like yourself and the Philadelphia, everybody out in Philly in the BLACKPRESS, and those across the country, telling our stories and reminding our folks of, again, what it is that we went through. And as you see on that picture right there, I am free now. Listen, we always going to be free in our hearts, and we owe it to our ancestors to continue to tell these stories. But there's another part. I know I said 2 parts. There's the third part. The stories can't be told in a vacuum. They can't just be told on shows like this where we're talking to people who are already aware of what's going on.
Right.
We got to be willing to go out in our communities, go out and speak to our young people, have young, comfortable conversations, and reminding them, whether they want to hear it or not, about this is what happened here. We actually talked about this particular story in my class on Monday, in regard to a larger story about how these different artifacts and our stories as a whole either aren't being told or they're being misrepresented. And you would be surprised how many of these 18, 19, 20-year-olds had never heard of any of this stuff. And when I was asking them, well, why? Why y'all think y'all don't know this? Because it's not on TikTok. And they're like, well, we just don't know. Like schools, they were teaching us about standardized learning tests and how to pass the test. We weren't getting this kind of information. So if there was ever a time for us to have a real tangible insight and pass on stories about what's transpired in yesteryear, because it could be happening today, it is now. We got to be willing to take the challenge, not just on TikTok, not just on our, but in person with our people.
Right, 100%.
But yeah.
I love it. And shout out to Sherry Stone, the staff writer from the Philadelphia Tribune, who wrote that story. And then shout out to her. And one of our chat people in the chat, Helen, says Ani was able to escape Washington, tried to get her back until he died.
Yeah, that's the one he kept going after. I mean, don't get it twisted. George Washington was a treacherous individual. You know what I'm saying? It's the same individual who took out the teeth of other individuals who were enslaved and put them in his mouth. This is the same individual, man. He's done a lot of treacherous stuff, but he's only done what those kind of folks always have done. But we've always done what we've done as well, and that's survive and thrive, because we are bigger and greater than any obstacle that's before us.
And you said that. I love how, I talk about this a little bit, how Black folks during this Trump administration and everything that he's throwing at us, how we're still finding our joy, how we're still traveling, how we're still, preparing to release documentaries, writing books, and just figuring it out. Like, this too shall pass.
Yeah, because that's who we are. We always figure it out because the ancestors have conditioned us, trained us, and it's within our bones and our spirits to fight back. We've never just lied down and accepted what's given to us. We've always found a way to make a way and continue to thrive in just that. And we're going to continue to do that.
All right, let's head to a HBCU.
You sounding like an old grandma.
You know what? You know what? Look, don't point it out. Nobody might not have caught that.
My bad. Next story.
Next story. Florida. Let's go to a HBCU too. At Florida A&M University, a College of Law student says that administrators asked her to remove or alter the word "black" from promotional materials for a Black History Month event. So her name is Aaliyah Stewart. She's in her final year of law. And she told News 6 in Orlando that campus staff flagged several words during the approval process of her event, or the law school event. Those words included Black, affirmative action, and women. Organizers had to abbreviate or rewrite the language to move forward. And of course, Aaliyah described the directive as censorship. What you say, Wes?
This is one of the more interesting stories in the country right now that I don't think is getting enough attention. Now, full disclosure, my big homie, one of my heroes, Dr. Donald Palm, is serving as one of the vice presidents at Florida A&M University. He is one of the last individuals who was able to remain over from the previous administration. A very, very stand-up and honest dude, a great guy who was for us. And I will say, Dr. Palm ain't saying this, I'm saying this. I will say that that administration down there, first of all, as a state, has their hands in a wide variety of different things, especially within our institutions. If you read the statement in which the school put out in regards to not addressing the specifics in which the student's complaint came from, specifically regarding her having to remove certain words, Black, woman, affirmative action, etc., What the school's administration statement strictly said was that they were following the code that has been set forth by the Florida legislator. And I think it's important, y'all, for y'all to understand, like in states like Florida, where the governor has been very clear in which he is anti-DEI, which in my opinion means anti-Black. He is anti promoting anything that is not of the quote unquote white standard. These institutions who are receiving public funding and public resources have to be very careful and meticulous about what they allow to transpire and then how they're promoting different things. It is a very, very scary times for our young people. But as we talked about in the last segment, our folks are always resilient and we are very strategic. So instead of them putting Black BLACK, they just abbreviated. They put BLK. You know what I'm saying? They found
that's what they did. I love it.
Different ways to
figure it out.
Yeah, they found different ways to get her out. And this young lady, in this particular story, this is an event.
Aaliyah Stewart.
Shout out to Sister Aaliyah. She's a representative of BALSA, and for any of our attorneys out there, BALSA historically has been, or stands for the Black Law Students Association. So I mean, like, this is a nationwide college or law organization. This isn't something that's specific to their campus. Like, they have literally chapters across the country, and even pre-BALSA chapters. We have one in my institution at VSU. So again, this isn't something that's specific to FAMU and Florida, where she's just trying to cause a ruckus. She's doing what organizations who are a part of her or chapters that are part of her organization have always done. But nonetheless, again, they found a way around it, like we always do, and we got to support those young sisters. So let's shout out to little Leah, man. We got to figure out how to send her a couple dollars, get her some Starbucks or something. You know, they like Starbucks.
Such a professor you are. I hear the professor in you right now. But I want to bring up the president of FAMU now, Marva Johnson. Now, she was pretty much appointed by the government, right?
What you mean pretty much? She was appointed by the governor. I don't know what.
I think that's important to know.
We ain't gonna sugarcoat that. You know, it was a process and whatnot. The new board was all appointed by this governor and this legislature, and this young lady, that their current president, was appointed by that board. And you know, I'm not here to disparage or speak negatively about their president or their board. I believe that, you know, she deserves to have the opportunity to help that institution thrive. They have a very strong and proud alumni base. And I know, you know, that they are very loud and proud about what they want to see done at their institution. And I trust my guy, Dr. Palm. You know, I know that he's going to make sure things are right. But they're in a very tough situation, man. You're at HBCU, historically Black college and university. Right. But you're having to adhere to a state legislature that has made it very clear that the values and principles of your institution isn't necessarily something that they want to promote. And, you know, I just encourage everybody in Florida to move to Virginia. You want better, just move to Virginia, because, you know, it's
yeah, and also, you know, other HBCUs and red states should pay attention, because this is how precedent is started, right? You know, it happens here, they'll get the idea, and, you know, it'll be at Grambling State University next, because we know how that governor is.
Come to VSU.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the changing of why this Trump ad man might be nervous, right? Which we all know. We all knew this story, but it's coming to light. For the first time in U.S. history, births to racial and ethnic minorities now make up the majority of newborns in the United States. Now, the study revealed white births at a 49.6%, while other groups taken together, including Blacks, Hispanics, and Asians, make up 50.4% of all births. Now, this data came because they examined national birth records, data of roughly 33 million births, and they also used detailed files from the CDC, and this comes from the Zucker School of Medicine, and it was led by researchers and professors like yourself. This is something that we knew, but for it to be coming to light, how do you think this plays into how the Trump administration is moving?
They scared. They scared. You know, hey man, people have been talking about this for a little minute now. The country is not going to be lily white like some people think it's going to be. You know, there's a lot of intermingling, if you will, going on, and them skins is darker. The blacker the berry, sweeter the juice. From Boricuas to the Black brothers to you name them, back and forth, man. Now you know we darkening up this nation, and that's always made individuals scared. And now the data is showing that we, and I say we, I mean all of us, are indeed leading the country in terms of the amount of births and people coming out of these fine young ladies' stomachs. So, you know, I think the administration, well, that's part of where they come from. Anyway, listen, the administration as a whole, right, in all seriousness, I think is utilizing a wide variety of different tactics to be able to try and sustain a little bit of power that they have left. There's no coincidence. It's not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on us, that when we see some of the tactics that a particular party in the country is using to try and gain and manipulate seats, to try and find different votes, to try and rig elections, in my personal estimation, it's no mistake that they are trying to do those things while data like this is coming out showing how the country is becoming a lot darker and browner, and people are trying to work together in different ways. Now, let's just look at this picture there in itself. Let's read it again. For the first time in U.S. history, white births dropped below 50% of total births, indicating a significant demographic change. And that demographic change for them, again, symbolizes and points to power being lost. Right. And what we've seen now across history, whenever white folk feel as if power is being lost, there has been black lash. And right now we're seeing black lash and brown lash. So we got to be diligent and vigilant in the way in which we address and attack these upcoming strategies. Because if we're not there and we don't address them, then they're going to find another way to try to take us back to yesteryear.
Right. And we know that they knew this back with the last census, right? In 2020. That's why Donald Trump did everything that he could to change the director, to stop the process, because they're trying to suppress this information. And that's how you get a Project 2026, you know, and that's what they're doing. And so we got to pay attention to this and figure out strategically, you know, to your point, nobody's going to save us. So strategically, how do we use this information to maximize, you know, our organizing, you know, our you know, whatever we need to do to change what's happening in our country?
I agree.
Let's talk about Gen Z real quick. Okay. So this story right here, I mean, you're dealing with a lot of Gen Zers, you know. Mr.
Tell me about it. Lord,
so let's talk about it. Gen Z has become the first generation in history to score lower IQ tests than their parents. Now, Gen Z is the first group to ever score lower than the generation before them. They're declining in attention, memory, reading, and math skills, problem-solving abilities, and overall IQ. Now, Dr. Jared Horvath, a former teacher turned neuroscientist, revealed that the generation born between 1997 and the early 2010s has been cognitively stunned by their overall reliance on digital technology in schools. Now, Horvath, I actually seen his testimony, shared this information with the U.S. Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. As a professor, do you agree or disagree?
Can I plead the fifth?
Ooh.
Can I plead the fifth? No. You know, I will say this, right? I think that it is important that we encourage our young babies to read. One of the things that we talk about in our class, like in my students, they will tell you, like every class, I remind them that they're revolutionaries. But I remind them that you can't be a revolutionary if you don't read. And reading is the cognitive skills in which you develop, the attention that you develop, the way in which we're able to mobilize, plot, plan, and strategize comes from us being able to spend time together reading and then writing. I will say that for some, it is not what they are necessarily accustomed to. But I will also say that I'm willing to bet that those who are old, those who were born pre-1997, also may have some cognitive deterioration, because it ain't just the babies who are addicted to these. It's all of us. So,
Right.
it's easy sometimes for us to judge young folk and say they're not doing A, B, and C. But shoot, I looked at I ain't gonna say who, but I know somebody who's a little older than me, and I was talking to them the other day, and they was glued to their phone, and they've been out of college a long time. And they too are addicted to the phone. So I mean, it's not just the babies. In this era of instant gratification with TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and so forth, the attention spans are indeed shorter. But I think that for all of us, we have to be more intentional again with ensuring that we're instilling wisdom, knowledge, and then modeling how these young folks should be doing what they need to do. Part of the reason why I wrote the book and gave a copy to every one of my students was that, and it's mandatory for them to read it to pass the class, so that I know they could read something. Like, we just got to model those things. I'm sorry.
Right.
I cut you.
No. I just wanted to jump in the chat. The chat is saying because they don't like to read and find it difficult to critically think. Mike V says, well, it doesn't help that platforms like TikTok are creating brain rot. And then Gina Stewart is saying, take time to read Telegram newspaper, Wayne County, Michigan. That's right. Keep dropping those Black newspapers in the chat. I think everything that you're saying, and even for me, my attention span is short now. Like to watch a movie. Think about how hard it is to watch a movie now.
And not pick up your phone.
Right.
And then
have to keep rewinding because you get so caught up on your phone for 15, 20 minutes and then you miss the plot of the movie.
I mean, that's real. And I appreciate your transparency and your honesty. I think that you ain't the only one. It's all of us. I mean, or many of us, I'll say. We ain't going to say all, because some people say don't make generalizations.
I would say majority. I would bet on majority.
Overwhelming majority of us. Now, we ain't got no scientific data. We haven't done a poll or conducted any research, but I'm willing to bet the majority of us have shortened attention spans. Hey, can I give a quick shout out real quick?
Sure.
Yo, man, my brother from another man, my man Victory Martin Yaboa. Yeah, I said your whole name is in here. West African. That's my man. That's my college roommate. That's my brother. He's actually finishing up in his last couple of years of becoming a doctor up in New York. I'm so proud of this brother. Yo, man, love Vic. Good to see you on here, man. I love you, and I owe you a trip next time I come to New York, fourth quarter.
Okay, good. And don't let this be the last time. Wes ain't got to be here for you to tap in and get this good Black news.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, you know what I'm saying? But y'all gotta have me back. You know what I'm saying? I have a brother back.
You coming back. Okay, so but technology, like cursive writing, do your students know how to sign their name?
Hey man, look, I ain't here.
See, that is wild. That is wild.
They got electronic signatures, man. They got electronic signatures,
That is wild that people don't know how to sign their name.
You know that you said that, right? I'm going to give them an assignment. Probably some of them are watching right now because I posted this on my IG, but I'm going to give them an assignment next week to see how many of them know how to sign their names in cursive.
Or write a full sentence,
Now you asked
a paragraph. I want a paragraph. No, make it a paragraph.
Okay, so in Gen Z's defense, right? What is the benefit of them knowing in 2026 how to write in cursive? What's the benefit to them? I'm not saying I don't understand the benefit, but I'm asking, like, if we had to ask them, because that's something they'd be like, Dr. B, why, Dr. West, like, why do we need to know how to write in cursive in 2026?
Because you never know when you're gonna need it. You never know what you need until you need it. That's what the elders would say.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying they got Adobe paragraph. They got Adobe electronic signature and all of that, man. The brother at the bottom of the comments.
What'd he say?
Shout out to Mike. Mike said, for the same reason a lot of sisters can't cook because they eat off of Grubhub and Uber Eats. Hey man, we ain't gonna turn this into no gender war, bro. What you talking about?
Because I cook. I cook all the time. Every sister I know
and deal with, man, she, what I'm saying? They could throw down, man. You got to come to the South, bro.
Okay.
Tell her.
I go grocery shopping. I cook. I have
There you
eggs
go.
in my refrigerator. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
have
Michael
milk. I
Carter.
have the basics. Okay.
Hey, Michael Carter makes a good point, though. I will say, he said, "Good morning. I think the use of AI too could be quote unquote dumbing down this generation. I mean, we have a lot of conversations, and it's mandatory in my classes. They know you use AI, then I am failing you. Like, you have to be able to think critically and be able to write with your own in your own words. So, hey, I won't say that AI isn't a tool that a lot of people use. I think in some regards, some people use it for the right reasons. Some people use it lazily, but we got to work through it. We got to work through it.
Yeah, Dr. Merlin says, I taught both of my boys, my youngest is 18, how to write in cursive. His friends are impressed.
Shout out to
So these, right. So these are things that, we know about, but the younger generations take for granted, or they don't even think about it all. Just like something like a landline. What is a landline to them?
What is a landline? Wait, what? A what?
I'm pretty sure your mother has a landline.
Definitely had the landline, but I mean, we may be some of the last. Well, they still have landlines. They're still landlines.
But I think that's the beauty of a Gen Xer, and I know you're a millennial, right?
Yeah,
Are you a millennial? Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. I think that we were the cusp of, knowing what, drinking out of a water hose, having a landline, knowing what to dial the operator. Remember when you had to dial the operator or 411? You don't remember that?
You're going a little far. You're going a little deep in the bag.
You don't know that? Well, see, my chat is Gen X and baby boomers, so they know about that.
I remember you had to dial 0. Hey, operator, I'm trying to get in contact with such and such.
Mr. Telephone Man.
Okay, now that's a little before me, but the remix. I watched the documentary. I watched the Bobby Brown and the New Edition documentary. So yeah.
Yeah, see, Destiny says, I got you, Sister Neil. I remember.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Mike V says, Brother West, years after the Charlottesville protests, how has the community evolved, especially with this current administration?
Brother, on a serious note, brother, that's a great question. I will say that we have made leaps and bounds. Are we perfect? No, there's still a lot of work to be done, but we currently have a Black mayor. Shout out to my brother Juan Diego Wade. This is coming on the heels of our first Black female mayor. Shout out to my dearest sister, Nakaya Walker. So we've had Black mayors now for the last 6 years here in Charlottesville. We got a Black superintendent. We got a Black city manager. Black superintendent, shout out to my superintendent Gurley. Black city manager, shout out to my guy, Sam Sanders. That same young sister who wrote the petition, Zayana Bryant, she's now serving on the school board. Shout out to Zai. She just won the school board election. So I mean, there's a lot of strides that have been made within the community. However, you don't overcome 200 to 300 years of oppression in the land of quote unquote Thomas Jefferson in a 10-year period. So we're still working to fight back against inequities. What I will say was I see us using our voices to speak up about different things in ways that definitely weren't transpiring before. And that makes me proud. And I will say also, there's a lot more people who are speaking up, fighting, leading events, doing different things now than we had a few years back. So we're coming along for sure.
That's good to know. Let's move to another story, which is a resource that, your college may use, or even you. One of the CIA's oldest and most recognizable intelligence publications, the World Factbook, it's just gone, y'all. It's gone. So the World Factbook served the intelligence community and general public as a long-standing one-stop basic reference about countries and communities around the globe, assisting teachers, professors, librarians, and of course, journalists. Now, the site disappeared on February 4th, leaving students mid-season and researchers without a trusted source, and the free resource provided basic information on countries, populations, economies, governments, and geography. So it's just gone.
Yeah. And
do you know about this source? Wait, did you know about this source?
Yeah, hell yeah. We use World Fact Book. I mean, in the world, the wildest part is that there was no explanation. Just like I remember what was it? It was on the 4th. Like it just it was gone. You go to the website and you see the farewell message, and that's it. The CIA is the one who really leads the World Fact Book, and like again, they didn't provide a specific reason. They just just say, hey, it's farewell. That's it. Millions of links used in educational settings and like news reports and research projects, they were all broken. Like you couldn't use them anymore. So man,
oh my gosh. So it was deeper than just it disappearing. It was the connection to different stories and resources. Yeah. Oh,
and
wow.
And it's unbiased data. Like you're able to compare statistics from country to country, a wide multitude of different things. And again, it's unbiased. And I think there's been a consistent theme from this administration about narrowing information and, in my opinion, removing access to information in different ways. And it's so ironic from the party of small government, the party of we want to be able to be free and expose everything and be able to have as much information as you want, small government, but they're doing all these different things to keep us from being able to have access. It's crazy, man.
Our producer Greer says she still has the landline. She wanted us to know that she still has the landline. But no, this is crazy. I mean, and it just started popping in my news feed about what's happening in Cuba. I didn't see that on the news happening, how our government is starving people over in Cuba and taking their electricity. I had no idea. Did you know about that?
That's the thing. Yeah. But listen, if it's not on your algorithm, like you got to think how most of us consume, how many of us rather consume news and information these days. Thank God for platforms like this one that allows folks to be aware and be informed. But for a large majority of people, they're receiving their information and their news on social media, which is inconclusive, but then also is controlled by algorithm. So if the algorithm by design isn't allowing you again to have access, then you won't know. I mean, many people are living in a bubble, and this information just isn't coming across, which is again why it's so important for outlets like this one and the Black press as a whole to speak up and speak out.
100%. Let's hobble over to an HBCU that is experiencing what Frankie Beverly calls joy and pain. Okay, so last week
reference at 9 a.m. is crazy to me, but go ahead. Let me hear about this.
Okay, and if it's 9 a.m. your time, guess what time it is mine? And I'm talking about joy and pain. But
Lord,
one week before last, he was fired. The next week he came back. Now it's a lawsuit, and I'm talking about at Morris Brown. So on the same week, an independent evaluation, the president came back. We know who I'm talking about, right? The president.
Shout out to my guy, my brother, Dr. Kevin James. You know I'm riding with you 120%. Yeah, ain't no bias news over here.
Okay, so on the same week that he came back, an independent evaluation team visited the campus to determine if Morris Brown should keep its accreditation and the vital federal funding that comes with it. Now the school is being sued by the former member and a board of trustee member. And in the complaint she's filed, Nzinga Shaw claims that the college did not pay her for her work as an interim president, but it was only for like a week and a half, right? But if that wasn't enough, there's a video going around that shows the president making a sexual explicit remark regarding a potential employee. Now, I don't want us to show that. Yeah. I don't even know if we should. Should we show it or should we not?
No, we should.
Okay, we're not gonna. Okay, we're not gonna show it.
We ain't showing that.
Okay, we're not gonna show it. But my question is, is it AI or is it real?
It's AI. He innocent until proven otherwise. He innocent.
Now, let me just tell you, the video is very explicit.
I'm sorry, bruh. I got that video looks very real to me.
Oh man, dang, the producer
And
I
what,
hate
okay,
to
Greer,
say it.
what does he say?
Go ahead, Greer.
What does
He
he say in the
uses
video?
the D word. He says it. He
He was talking about
implies it.
dominoes. He was talking about dominoes. Like, you got to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Dominoes.
okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Dominoes.
So
And
what do we do? What do we do?
He looked like he had gas. He couldn't, I mean, like AI could not. I'm sorry. And that little video looked very real.
You know, I think he was just playing. I think he was.
So the way Destiny says, definitely not. Let folks look it up for themselves if they want it.
Okay.
So look it up or don't look it up. But basically, he was making references of the D to a potential employee. It was caught on video. I don't know who has it out for this president. I don't know who has it out for President James, but the work that he's done, I think this is and is doing, you know, is important. I remember we interviewed him back on the Black Report when he was trying to get the accreditation back. And he did it. And just last week, T.I. donated $75,000 or $50,000. You know, Nikema Williams, the Congress member, donated $700,000. So the work that he is doing is undeniable. But the question becomes, does that still matter when he's making those type of comments to potential employees?
Well, let me, in all seriousness, right? And I gave the disclosure, like that's my man. I got a lot of love for Dr. James. In all seriousness, I would be interested in hearing his side. Some individuals may say, well, it's there in plain sight, but I don't know the context in terms of like what this relationship was with this person he was having a conversation with. When the video that I saw, it looked like it was a bunch of people on the call. I thought that he was joking. Like I in all seriousness, like I thought that he was just joking with somebody, and I do think that somebody has it out for him. I hope that this doesn't negate all of the work in which he's been able to do for this institution, like literally revitalizing and revising this institution. And I'll also say that this is a very common theme out of the playbook of Black leadership in terms of when individuals rise, they begin to do good work, there's always a character attack of sorts. And I just hope that Morris Brown as an institution is able to get through this. Those young people who are at the institution are able to continue moving forward. I mean, it's embarrassing for everybody, like everybody at HBCUs. This isn't just something for Morris Brown. Like it's something that we all have to deal with. And I think that, you know, showing a little patience and grace could go a long way, man. When you're in that spotlight, when you're in man.
I think that's fair. It's fair. If you only look at that clip, does appear to be an audience. The context of how it was given, regardless of what the circumstance, it could have been somebody he was in a relationship with or previously had a relationship with. It's not clear. So you know, it may have sounded inappropriate, but if it was a personal conversation with whoever, you know, the number of people, and he, you know, I think you're right.
But I also think that it's the context of what he was talking about too. He was talking about employment and he was talking about sexual references. So I think that's the issue. If it was just a personal conversation, that's one thing. But he was mixing that was a business.
No, you're right. But if the context was, this is someone who I had an intimate relationship with, and now, you know, I had considered having her as my, you know, assistant, but, you know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Without really, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, like we don't know.
Context, it was really because we only have that clip. And I do think it's wow for whoever did it. They did try to set him up to even be recorded, and now it's out there.
And I think the bigger question is, you know, who has it out for President James, right? Because, you know, they let him go unknowingly, you know, and then there was a big campaign. He was on Roland Martin, you know, what happened? Why did you terminate him? He said he didn't know. Then they, you know, bring an interim president in, and then less than a week and a half later, then there's this expose put out on the AME Church. And the connection between the AME Church, and then all of a sudden he's back. So it's like, what is going on at Morris Brown? And I think it also brings up what you were saying, Wes, about it's embarrassing. That school has been through so much, and it's like they've been redeemed. They keep coming back. And although he's good for the school, it's also like, what is going on?
Well, again, I think it would behoove all of us, and yeah, I'm saying this because I know him, and know him well. I think that sometimes grace and patience can go a long way. And I think that in this era of wanting to sensationalize everything, we have to be able to be gracious and patient with our own, especially when they've proven to us the amount of work in which they're able to do to uplift our people. What he does in his personal life, honestly, to me, that ain't none of my business. Now, again, I want a level of professionalism to be maintained, but I don't know the context of that conversation. And I'm just speaking candidly. I think Kevin is smart enough to not be having that kind of conversation with 10 other people on the phone and then all watching. And again, there's other people on it. I don't know what the context was. And I ain't gonna let it be taken away from the fact that while we talking about this with Kevin James, and while some people were mad at Jamal Bryant and his wife's dress, Trump just went into the Fulton County Office of Elections and is trying to steal all of the voter rolls. I ain't gonna let any of that also be moved away. We got a 34 count felon in the White House, and we over here talking about what this president did.
Okay, well, I'll say this: we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're gonna move.
You right. You right.
We gonna move to the next story. We gonna track this one.
Yeah, move on.
And congratulations to President James and Morris Brown for their almost $1 million donation from hip hop from the federal government. Okay, let's talk about tenure. We have the professor here, the chair of political science. Let's talk about some what's happening in Oklahoma, where professors are opposing Governor Kevin Stitt's order ending tenure. Now, the Oklahoma governor signed an executive order prohibiting public regional universities and community colleges from granting new lifetime tenure to faculty. Now, this is shifting to renewable performance-based contracts. Existing tenure is honored, but all tenured faculty will undergo mandatory 5-year reviews. So I don't know if that still keeps tenure, but the professors fear it will limit academic freedom and lead to a decline in education quality. As a professor and a chair of a department, what are your thoughts on this story?
This is crazy. Let me just be clear. This is crazy. Any of y'all who are out in Oklahoma and y'all looking for a job, we got plenty of them over here in Virginia. I'm just being candid. We don't have we don't got no crazy governor like this gentleman. I mean, I want people to do their research on who this governor is and his attack on education as a whole. This is the same guy who Governor Stitt, who was adamant about the 10 Commandments being placed in Oklahoma K-12 schools. This is the same guy who has been a staunch supporter of removing anything revolving around DEI, Black history, things of that nature. And don't get it twisted. Oklahoma has a HBCU there. Their institution, Langston University, was named after the same person who helped found Virginia State University, John Mercer Langston. You can do your Googles on John Mercer Langston, arguably one of the first Black elected officials in United States history up in Ohio, the founder of the Howard Law School, the first dean at the Howard Law School, and then the first Black person to serve in Congress in Virginia. So Langston University is a very historic place, to say the least. And when you look at the impact and ramifications of removing tenure or not allowing those to be able to earn tenure does a couple of things for a couple of different reasons. One, it allows persons to be able to have academic freedom to teach what they how they want and ensure that a level of knowledge is being embarked on our young people. Secondly, it also ensures that an administration on the college level or even higher can't just come and do something nefarious and take your job from you, like you've earned that. And then thirdly, people work much of their academic careers to be able to be in the position to have the autonomy and get the prestigious prestigious award of earning tenure. Like that's a very, very serious thing. And because, in my opinion, this administration is so threatened by intellect, they are willing to do anything in which they can to try and remove these intellectual persons from being able to tell the truth. And that's the real shame in all of this.
Yeah, and then like I said before, like this could set a precedent that it could, somebody else adopt it, and then before you know it, it'll be in Virginia.
Nah. Because let me tell you something about out here. Y'all think them statues we had some beef? Let y'all come. All right, anyway, y'all, let's move on.
No. Are you tenure?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so talk about like what that means to a professor. Like, what is the process to have tenure? And what does that mean exactly for those who don't know?
So you got to go through a couple of different processes, if you will. You have a three-year review and then a 5-year review, in which you have to be able to compile all of the research in which you've done, show all of your evaluations, be able to have reference letters and person speak on your behalf, whether that be students, administrators, and so forth, colleagues, about the work in which you've done. You then have to present all the work in which you've been able to do. And again, there's a 3-year a kind of midpoint evaluation process. And then on your 5th year, that's when you present to the faculty senate, and then you're granted tenure, if you're granted tenure. And then for other individuals, based off the work in which you've done prior to coming to your institution, you may have had it at another school or in some other capacity, you then get it there. So there's a couple of ways.
So it's transferable. So you could transfer your tenure.
Depending on if the institution allows you to transfer or to honor your tenure at another institution. More times than not, that does happen because you've already demonstrated the work in which you've done, but it's not something that's taken lightly. Like, you don't just get tenure just by being, a Rudy Poo or coming in your first year or your second year. No, you have to have a strong academic, you have to be able to show a strong academic track record to be able to earn this prestigious award. So for him to arbitrarily believe that he has the wherewithal or the academic prowess to just take it away is something that I'm very disappointed in, but honestly doesn't surprise me from that administration in Oklahoma. And I'm just praying for all the folks out there in Tulsa and Norman and other places who are working hard to ensure that intellectual freedom still reigns supreme. And y'all keep fighting, keep your head up, because the natives out there, the ancestors are working with you and riding with you, and the Black folk who are out there doing the same thing.
And so my last question about that, do you go under review? Or is like once you get it, it's just done?
No. I mean, when you get it, that ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you do have a review. So him saying that, a mandatory 5-year review, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, in order to get the standard, you got to have the 5-year review. In order to get the tenure, you have to have you have to be able to go through the process to get tenure. And then, then after that, if you will, if depending on, again, how your institution works, like there still could be an evaluation process. Every faculty member still has to have an evaluation process if they're teaching courses from their administrator. Like, that's just standard. So it's not like you just get to do whatever you want. And again, man, I just really think that this individual isn't truly aware of how the academic process works. And it's disappointing, to say the least.
All right, let's talk about something that you love.
Yo, my man in the comments said you have tenure as a janitor. That's crazy. He tried to troll me.
Work has dignity.
Hey man, that was funny. That was funny, bro. Much respect, man. Much respect. That was funny.
Let's talk about something that you love and are passionate about. Let's talk about some basketball and HBCUs. Now, for the first time in history, 4 of the top 40 scorers in all of college basketball are currently playing for HBCUs in the SWAC.
They cooking. They all from the SWAC?
4 of them. 4 of the top 40 are from the SWAC.
4 of the 40
yeah. And so the standout Jackson State's Deshaun Ruffin is leading a conference that used to be football first into a basketball powerhouse. And then the takeaway is the prime effect didn't just stay in football. It brought the eyes and the scouts to the hardwood too. And so you have 4 of the top scorers. You have the prime factor. And then what are your thoughts about HBCUs and basketballs before we get to something that you're working on? We're going to talk about that, but I want to know your thoughts about this first.
Well, I think it just goes to show that, HBCUs have high quality product in the classroom as well as on the athletic fields, from football to basketball, softball, baseball, volleyball, and so forth. We produce high quality individuals and work as a whole. So, I'm very proud of these young people. Shout out to the 4 players representing the SWAC, leading the country and scoring 4 of the top 40. Man, I think that is absolutely insane. Much respect to all 4 of those young brothers. And again, that SWAC tournament that's going to be taking place in Atlanta in March, man, is going to be one that you do not want to miss.
And you're talking about the Black College Invitational Championship that is produced.
Well, before they get to that, that's our thing. Before they get to that, they have their own conference tournament. Shout out to the commissioner, the Honorable Dr. Charles, man, who is also serving as the chair of the NCAA selection committee that picks all of the teams to go play in the March Madness tournament. He's the chair of that committee, man. The SWAC commissioner is doing phenomenal work. Shout out to Dr. Charles, as well as the MEAC commissioner, Miss Sonia Steele. She's doing great work as well. And then I can't leave out CIAA Commissioner Jackie McWilliams, as well as the SIC Commissioner, my dear brother Anthony. So, the HBCU basketball, HBCU football, but since we're talking about basketball, is in good hands. And what I was alluding to was prior to the NCAA tournament and the BCIC, which we're going to get to, there are conference tournaments that you have. So the SWAC will have their own conference tournament down in Atlanta. I went to it last year. Phenomenal basketball. And then the MEAC will have their conference tournament in Norfolk, Virginia. Both will be taking place in early March. And then that's going to be leading up to, the big dog, the Black College Invitational Championship. But I'll let you roll that out. You know what I'm saying?
I want you. Let's talk about the Black College Invitational Championship, which is something that is produced by you and your team. Tell us about it.
It's my baby, man, as if I didn't have enough jobs, but, we were able to create what's called the Black College Invitational Championship. Last year was our first year. We kicked it off in Charlotte, North Carolina. And here's the thing. We recognize the fact that HBCUs have high quality basketball, as we just talked about, but we don't always have the opportunities to go and play in the NCAA March Madness tournaments on the Division I and Division II levels, the same way in which other conferences do. So, for example, you take a school from a PWI playing in what's known as a quote-unquote Power 5 conference. Those schools could have great years and they don't win their conference tournament, and they're allowed to go play in the NCAA March Madness, where more times than not, our institutions don't get that same opportunity. So we created our own HBCU March Madness tournament. Last year was in Charlotte, North Carolina. This year is going to be at Virginia State University to highlight our players and allow them to continue playing postseason basketball. Now, last year we had 8 Division II schools, teams from the CIAA and the SIC. This year we're going to have the D1s playing, and this is going to take place on March 25th through the 29th at Virginia State University. Yo, man, it is going to be a phenomenal event, from step shows to athletic director symposium to cheer and stump competitions. Y'all got it up there. Education Day, where we'll be giving away scholarships on the spot. Every team that played last year received $10,000, and in the winning schools, they received $25,000. So, man, it's really about giving back and supporting us. So we want everybody to come out. BCIC Education Day, again, that's going to be at VSU the 26th and 27th, and then the games will be taking place the 27th and the 28th. So it's a great weekend, man, and we hope that y'all can come on out of Virginia. Make sure we get the Black Press out there to show us some love.
I'm sure Dawn Montgomery is going to cover it for us. She's on that HBCU beat, along with our other journalists. What's the name, Greer? What's the name of the other journalist?
Itoro and Don,
they are on the mission for HBCUs, and so they bring us all the great content. So
we got to get them out there. Follow the page, BCIC, Black College Invitational Championship. It was just up on the screen. We highlight games of the week, games to watch every week. We highlight different players. We make sure that everybody knows about what's transpiring and going on in the realm of HBCU basketball. And again, we don't have to beg anybody else to allow us to play in their stuff. We can make our own stuff, which is what we did, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Now, it is hard, so we need y'all support. Make sure y'all come on out and support us. It is challenging to say the least, but nonetheless, we're gonna get there.
All right, well, let's do some collaborations. That feels like Feel Good Friday to me. So let's talk about ways we can collaborate and help amplify what's happening at the Black College Invitational Championship.
For sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So let's talk about what's happening over with The View. So here's some tea, y'all. The FCC has launched an investigation into The View over possible violation of equal time rule for political candidates. Now, the Federal Communications Commission is opening an investigation into the show after Texas State Rep James Tallarico appeared on the show. Under the equal time regulations, all legally filed candidates, regardless of party, would be allowed the same amount of time on the same program. Now, Tallarico had around 9 minutes of airtime on the show, while his primary rival, Rep Jasmine Crockett, had about 17 minutes of airtime on the show. And so we saw them go after Jimmy Kimmel, and this is like just a loophole for now them to attack The View.
It's always something, man. Shout out to our dear sister Jasmine Crockett. Shout out to Tallarico, man. Shout out to Jasmine. I love you, Jasmine. Keep pushing, sister. Shout out to The View for allowing our people to have their voices heard. Segments, they can't control segments and how conversations flow. If for whatever reason the conversation isn't flowing a certain way, that doesn't mean that they are doing something nefarious. They have an obligation to essentially ensure that both individuals are represented or have the opportunity to come on the show. That doesn't mean that they're doing anything nefarious. I mean, this is just another attempt from the administration, this fascist administration, to try and use a heavy hand to meddle in things that they have no business doing so.
I want to go back to a couple of comments. Dr. Marilyn said, that's crazy. They didn't give Dr. Cornel West his tenure. And Nicole Hannah-Jones, she had a problem with tenure. That's why she ended up at Howard University.
She was on at UNC.
And then we have Nancy Wall. She says, congratulations to you. That sounds great. We're going to keep that story going and help promote what's happening with that championship invitational. And then we're going to go. David Youngblood said, didn't Reagan get rid of equal time? I'm not sure.
Reagan, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But man, it's just another thing. Again, it's always something. It's always something.
Right. So we'll keep going. Let's do a little quick before we get out of here of the Olympics. Norway is leading with 5 gold medals. So they're in the lead. Switzerland falls second with 3 medals. Italy, the host, hosting the Olympics, they coming in at 2. And then we'll just jump down to the United States where we have 2 gold as well. So Norway is leading with gold medals.
Do you watch the Winter Olympics?
I love it. I love it. Italy is winning a total with 10. Italy has 10 gold medals, followed by Norway with 9. And our total is 4. So
still early.
Yes. How about you? Do you watch them?
I watch basketball, but hey, go shout out to everybody that's out there competing. I'm up late watching Laker games. They didn't win last night, but yeah, man, shout out to everybody that's competing. It's a lot of work to be an athlete, so much respect to them all.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest stories is coming out is of the U.S. skiing legend Lindsey Vonn, who
she broke her leg or something, right?
She broke her leg, but she tore her ACL. Is it an ACL?
ACL, yeah, and then went back.
She tore and then went back out there and skied, and she's saying that it wasn't the ACL, it was her hitting the flag that had her break her leg. But girl.
Yeah, man, you got to be a sicko to be an athlete at that level, and man, wish you a speedy recovery, young lady. Get some hot chocolate, some teas, put some rubber testing on it. You'll be all right.
Yeah, and of course the Black athletes, they are growing in numbers, and I love to see like Haiti as well as like Jamaica, who they don't know nothing about snow. Snow is nowhere near the Caribbean. But yet they are excelling and thriving in the Olympics. I think that's pretty cool. So we're going to have more stories about that as well.
Much respect.
All right. Before we get out of here, we have some Black history facts. You ready?
I'm ready. Let me see what you got.
Okay, so we're going to start in 2004. Kanye West released his debut studio album, The College Dropout. What's your favorite song off that?
College Dropout, old Kanye. Let's see, my favorite song on College Dropout, probably Never Let Me Down, the record with him and Jay-Z. I think that was a very powerful record. That's probably my favorite record off of that album.
I'm gonna do Family Business. Isn't Family Business on this one?
Family Business on that one, yeah.
And Through the Wire. Through the Wire was like that one right there, and just his story, you know, of the accident. So that was my jam, and then Family Business. Those were my two.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go. I miss that Kanye, man. Come on back, brother. We know you working through some things. Come on back, brother. Come back home. We know you.
Well, he's about to drop another album, I think, this spring or summer. So he'll be back sooner than you know. It's just which Kanye are we gonna get?
Yeah,
right. And here's a good question. And then because you like Come On Back Home. Now, you know, everybody not always welcome back. So Kanye, with all that's happened, is he welcome back? And why?
I'm a firm believer in having patience with our people and impatience with progress. And
so you would say that to Candace Owens as well?
I think that if you're black, I can agree to disagree with you. And it's my responsibility to never disparage you in public. Now, what you choose to do is what you choose to do. But me, I'm never going to disparage you in public. I'm going to hold grace for you. But I do reserve the right to not mess with you. Now, you know, I can love you from a distance and just not agree not to say any ill towards you because you look like me, and not do any harm towards you because you look like me. But that don't mean that I gotta mess with you. And I think that's important for us to understand.
So do you tell Kanye where the bunker is, where the black bunker is, or do you tell Candace?
Real, what is up with you, yo?
You're being too great. I mean, you know, we got
being real. That's me though. Like I don't you know what I'm saying? Like I firmly believe that we gotta hold space in the heart for our people, but you know, that don't mean that I gotta mess with you. Now, do I tell them where the black bunker is? How bad is it? Like, is it catastrophic outside and we all about to go?
We all about to go. You listen, you live how you live. We letting them know where the bunker is.
I'm bringing them. You sit your black.
Because you better bring the guy that said you have tenure as a janitor. You bring him too, huh?
You stay over there in the corner, and I can fight. So you stay over there in the corner, and if you got a line, we're gonna have some issues. But you stay over there because maybe deep down we can bring you back. Lord help! I hope that gets me into heaven.
What about Nikki? Okay, since we thought, what about Nikki?
Lord, I mean, yeah, if you're gonna bring Kanye and Candace Owens, I guess that y'all stay in the corner. Y'all stay in the corner over there. And maybe you know what can happen. Maybe when we get them in the bunker, we can have an intervention. And we can get them down and we can help them understand the error of their ways, and we can bring them back. Maybe that's actually what they need, for them to come down in the bunker with us, for us to help them understand the harm that they're doing. Did y'all ever think about it like that, sister? And put my Dr. Umar hat on.
Wait, David Youngblood said, "Not yet, Nikki. Nikki, not yet."
Michael said, "I'll help you come back to the cookout." LOL. I mean, brother, I understand. Trust me, I understand, and I am conflicted. But you know, the good book says, "Judge ye not." Matthew 7.
Yeah. Now you know who I want at the cookout. Judge me all you want. R. Kelly, because I want to step in the name of love. Come sing this.
God, Lord, and on that note, y'all, this was good seeing y'all. Lord have mercy. Intervention that includes intervention.
Hey, but on a serious note,
She trying to step.
You know, hey. You know, Lord, he needs to be in the corner with a little something around him. Make sure
nothing little. Nothing little. That's his problem. He like being around little. He like little. He need to be surrounded by brothers to let him know, hey, bro, we ain't having that.
Yeah, put him. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
but this is an important milestone. We talked about the Voting Rights Act yesterday, and Dr. King met with President Lyndon B. Johnson to discuss voting rights. But on today, the House passed the landmark Civil Rights Act.
Yes.
Okay, which was later signed into law on February 2nd of 1964, following a long Senate filibuster. But I thought this was important to pair because civil rights wasn't enough. And we all know that, Lyndon B. Johnson took it out because they just wasn't ready for it. But Dr. King and, of course, the Big Six didn't let up. Okay, right. We got our Civil Rights Act, but we still want our Voting Rights Act. That was just as important. And they pushed until a year later, we got it. And so I think to your point of our conversation today, it's like, you got to keep going. Nobody is going to save us. And that's something that Dr. King knew. That just because we got civil rights, nobody was going to give us voting rights. They had to keep pushing until we got it. And so I think that's a beautiful way to win the show, because the struggle is real, but the love is ours to share with one another. And we just keep pushing. Yeah.
I mean, and to be clear, like, you gave a great synopsis, but I want folks to understand like how long that actually took. You know what I'm saying? So listen now, it was passed in the House on February 10th, 1964. It wasn't passed into law or got through the Senate and went to the Senate on February 26th, but then it wasn't signed into law until July 2nd, 1964. Like, there was a long filibuster that was associated with that. And then you got 60 days of filibustering in the Senate. And then again, man, it took some time. And I want you to put like in context, in Virginia in 1901, there was a constitution. There was a constitutional amendment, or a convention rather, that took place in 1901. We went nearly 80 years from 1890 to 1968 without having a Black representative in the Virginia House, the Virginia General Assembly, due to Jim Crow laws, Black codes, voter disenfranchisement, and so forth. So this Voting Rights Act, when it was finally passed in 1964, like, that was a big deal. Subsequently, 3 years later in Virginia, we saw the first Black man be elected to the House of the Virginia General Assembly House since 1890, and then we had our first sister, Yvonne B. Miller, be elected in 1983. So y'all, like, these laws that were passed, they aren't just dates and numbers. And if they were just dates and numbers, these individuals in the current administration wouldn't be working so hard to gut the Voting Rights Act and not pass the John Lewis voting rights bill that's put forth right now. So my bad for the sermon, but just want to make sure we understood the context of that.
No, I mean, it's Black History Month. We celebrating 100 years. We got to get it all in. Yes, and the most important thing is, it's not that long ago.
It's not.
It's not.
It is not.
So I want to thank you for joining us. I'm looking forward to you coming back, because you got big announcements to do, and you got so much commentary.
Yeah. I can't wait to come back on here. You know what I'm saying? You give me a little bit more notice, I get a fresh cut. Make that. Right.
Well, look, Greer, I know Greer's already getting the email ready to get your date. I already know what's happening.
Let's make it happen. Thank you so much. For y'all having me. It's always a good time. Salute and show love to the Black Press, man. This Black Press USA morning show is a great one. I had a great time. And again, I hope I can join y'all soon.
All right. Peace and love. And you guys, for the latest in Black news, head on over to blackpressusa.com. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Greer, go get your landline.